and also known as within data science. Sorry, I am student at Science School enrolled in the Academy Level 1. So today we are having a new interview with a new topic, and our topic name is um, our topic name is explore about openness in the contents of water philosophy. So let's start without wasting time. We can start our interview with Maya.
Hi, Miriam. What's been on your mind since we last spoke?
Okay, so Maya, today our topic name is explore about openness in the contents of water philosophy. And my first question is what the openness in the contents of water philosophy means. Do you personally give the explanation of 5 to 6 minutes with some example and some tips?
Water photography. Nice. That's a really beautiful subject. Okay, so the importance, huh? Well, I think it's way more than just pretty pictures. It's about capturing something really fundamental. Water is life, right? And it's constantly changing, reflecting, distorting, moving. So a good water photo isn't just documenting a scene, it's capturing a feeling, a mood, a bit of the flow of time itself. It's almost philosophical when you get into it. Like, think about a photo of a stormy sea. It's not just water and waves, it's power, chaos, the sublime, or a really still lake reflecting a mountain. It's peace, clarity, a kind of mirroring of the world. Tapping into these big themes, water does so much visually. It can be a leading line, drawing your edge. It creates textures, reflections, refracts. It's just a playground for light and composition. Plus, it adds this inherent mystery. You never see the whole picture. Things are always obscured or revealed by the water surface. Some tips. Play with shutter speed a lot. Long exposures can give you that silky smooth water effect. Great for waterfalls or faster shutter speeds can freeze splash hits, which is cool for action shots. Polarizing filters are your friend. They cut glare and deepen colors. And don't be afraid to get wet, as the best angles are from lower perspectives. Oh, and composition. Leading lines, thirds, all those classic things apply, but water can really amplify them. Experiment with reflections, use them as symmetry, or break them up to create a sense of unease. I guess it's about seeing water not just as an element, but as a character in your photo. Does that make sense? It's kind of hard to explain without showing you. But yeah, it's pretty special stuff.
Okay, so my next question is what's the main purpose of openness water philosophy?
Whoa. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Offland water to slow feed? Hmm. You mean diverting water from rivers or lakes onto the land to irrigate slowly? Is that what you're getting at? Because the phrasing is a little off, honestly. But yeah, okay, the main purpose is pretty straightforward. It's about controlling water distribution for optimal plant growth. Essentially, it's a way to mimic natural rainfall, delivering water directly to the root zone in a way that minimizes runoff and evaporation. So you get more efficient water use, which is super important, especially in drier climates. It also helps build healthy soil because consistent moisture encourages beneficial microbial activity. Think about things like drip irrigation or micro sprinklers. That's kind of what we're talking about. Taking water off land, meaning from its natural course, and applying it in a slow feed manner. It's used a ton in agriculture, obviously, but also in landscaping, orchards, pretty much anywhere you want to grow things sustainably. It's not just about quantity of water, but also about timing and delivery. You want to avoid stressing the plants with sudden floods or letting them dry out completely. Slow feed ensures a consistent supply, which promotes strong, healthy growth. Does that get at what you were asking? It was a bit of a tricky one to parse, to be honest. Ah, okay. Everything all right?
Yeah,
You went
everything
quiet
okay.
there.
My next question is, how does the way water adapts to any condition? Its answers reflect the concept of openness in human life, and what lesson can we learn from it about flexibility and self-acceptance? Give me explanation of 10 to 30 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, wow. I am right. Okay. That's a really beautiful question, actually. A big one, too. So, water adapting to any container without losing its essence, and how that reflects openness in human life. Where do I even begin? Okay. So, think about it. Water takes the shape of whatever holds it, a glass puddle, a vast ocean, doesn't resist. It simply becomes. It doesn't lose its waterness in the process, does it? It's still H2O, still capable of nourishing life, still powerful. That to me is a really potent metaphor for humans. We spend so much time trying to maintain a rigid sense of self, a fixed identity. We build walls around our feelings, our beliefs, our experiences. We resist change because change feels like a threat to who we think we are. But what if instead we embrace the fluidity of water? What if we allowed ourselves to be shaped by our experiences, to adapt to new situations without losing our core values? I think that's where the lesson of flexibility comes in. Life is constantly throwing things at us, unexpected curves, challenges, heartbreaks. If we're too rigid, we'll break, we'll crumble under the pressure. But if we can learn to be like water, to bend and flow with the currents, we can navigate those challenges with grace and resilience. It's not about being a doormat, you know? It's not about losing your boundaries. It's about recognizing the times the most powerful response is to adapt, to adjust, to find a new way forward. And then there's the self acceptance part. Water doesn't judge the container it's in. It doesn't think, oh, this glass is too small or this ocean is too vast. It simply is, wherever it is. Similarly, we need to learn to accept ourselves, flaws and all. We all have parts of ourselves that we don't like, experiences that we regret, insecurities that hold us back. But those things don't define us. They're just part of our journey, part of what makes us unique, like the impurities in water that sometimes even enhance its character. I think a lot of our suffering comes from resisting those parts of ourselves, from trying to be someone we're not. But when we can embrace our whole selves, with all our imperfections, we open ourselves up to a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. Not always easy, right? It takes courage, self-compassion, and a willingness to let go of control. It also reminds me of like when you're learning something new, you're inevitably gonna make mistakes. You're gonna feel awkward. But if you can approach it with that water-like quality, openness, flexibility, acceptance, you'll learn so much faster. You'll be more resilient. You'll be more likely to stick with it. It's about embracing the learning process rather than being fixated on the outcome. And it's kind of beautiful when you think about it, isn't it? That something so simple, so commonplace as water can hold such profound wisdom. It's a constant reminder that change is inevitable, that resistance is futile, and that true strength lies in our ability to adapt and accept. It's a reminder to be kind to yourself, to embrace your imperfections, and to flow with the currents of life. I think, yeah, that's what I've got. It's been swirling around in my head for a bit now. Does any of that resonate with you? I could go on, honestly. It just feels like a really rich topic.
So my next question is, in what ways can the transparency of water symbolize openness in communication, relationships, and leadership? And how does this level of honesty impact trust and harmony in society? Give the explanation of tensions.
Okay, transparency and water. I see where you're going with this. That's a really interesting framing. So, how can the transparency of water, its clarity, its ability to reveal what's beneath the surface, emphasize openness in communication, relationships, and leadership? Well, think about looking into clear water. You can see everything that's there. There's no hiding, no obfuscation. That's what honest communication is all about, right? Being able to see each other clearly, to understand each other's perspectives without distortion. When we're transparent in our communication, we're more likely to build trust. People feel safe sharing their thoughts and feelings when they know we're being genuine and upfront with them. It applies to relationships too. A healthy relationship is built on honesty and vulnerability. It's about being able to see each other and be seen for who we truly are, flaws and all. When there's a lack of transparency, it creates distance, suspicion, and resentment. And in leadership, transparency is absolutely crucial. People will know that their leaders are honest, ethical, and accountable. They want to know what's going on, what decisions are being made, and why. When leaders are transparent, it fosters trust, engagement, and loyalty. Now, how does this level of honesty impact trust and harmony in society? That's a bigger question. I think a society built on transparency is a more just and equitable society. When information is freely available, it empowers citizens to make informed decisions and hold their leaders accountable. It also reduces corruption and abuse of power. When people trust each other and their institutions, they're more likely to cooperate, to work together towards common goals. Creates a sense of community, a sense of belonging. I can't. You need a bit more time to.
Okay, so my next question is, how can the ability of water to flow freely around obstacles inspire us to adopt an open mindset when facing challenges rather than becoming rigid or resistant?
Okay, that's a really powerful question, Miriam. And okay, that's good to know. You don't want to have to use the telephone company. Is that related to the water question, or I'm a little lost, honestly. You were asking about water flowing around obstacles, then mentioned the telephone company. Is something going on? Are you okay?
Yes, everything's okay. Let's continue.
Okay, right. Sorry about that. Just checking. So, back to water. You were asking how its ability to flow around obstacles can inspire us to adopt an open mindset when facing challenges. You said, rather than becoming graded or residents. And I think you meant rigid or resistant, right? Anyway, yeah, that's a really insightful connection. Water doesn't bash into things, it doesn't try to force its way through, it finds a way around, over, under, it adapts. And that's a really valuable lesson for us. When we're faced with a challenge, it's so easy to get stuck in a fixed mindset, to see the obstacle as insurmountable, to feel helpless or defeated. We become rigid, resistant to change, convinced that there's only one way to solve the problem. But if we can adopt that water-like quality, that fluidity, that adaptability, we can find creative solutions that we never would have considered otherwise. It's about recognizing that obstacles are not necessarily roadblocks, but rather opportunities to find new paths. It's about being open to different perspectives, experimenting with new approaches, and trusting that we can navigate whatever comes our way. That takes courage, for sure. It's easier to just give up, to become resigned to our fate. But when we embrace that fluid mindset, we unlock our potential for resilience, innovation, and growth. It means not seeing failure as the end, but as a redirection, a chance to find a different course. It reminds me, I was reading about bamboo the other day and how it bends in the wind rather than breaks. Similar concept, right? It's about yielding, not resisting. It's a really powerful metaphor for life. And it really does start with that open mindset, being willing to see things from a different angle, to challenge our assumptions, to embrace the unknown. Does that land? I'm getting a little worried about the phone company thing, though. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, everything's okay. So my next question is, what can the endless cycle of water from rain to river to ocean to clouds teach us about the openness required to let go of the past, welcome change, and continually renew ourselves?
Okay, that's beautiful. Seriously. The water cycle as a metaphor for letting go and renewal. That's really profound. So, yeah, the endless cycle, right? Rain falls, flows into rivers, rivers empty into the ocean, water evaporates into clouds, and then it rains again. It's a continuous loop of release and rebirth. And it teaches us a lot about how to navigate our own lives. The rain is like the release of the past, right? Letting go of things that no longer serve us, old wounds, regrets, limiting beliefs. It can be painful, like a storm, but it's necessary for clearing the way for new growth. The river is the journey, the flow of life. Sometimes it's smooth and easy, sometimes it's turbulent and challenging, but it's always moving forward, always evolving. And the ocean is like the vastness of possibility, the source of all
Okay.
life. I
So
think is
my next question
transformation.
is, how does the patience of water, which shapes even the hardest rock or time, demonstrate that openness is not weakness but a quick persistent strength?
Okay, wow. That's a really insightful question. The patience of water shaping rock, wearing it down over time. Yeah, it really illustrates something profound, demonstrates that true strength isn't about force, it's about persistence. It's not about a quick fix, it's about consistent, gentle pressure. Water doesn't yell at the rock, doesn't try to break it with brute force. It just keeps flowing over and over. And eventually, even the hardest rock yields. That's a really powerful metaphor for openness, because it highlights that change takes time. It's not always instant. It requires patience, perseverance, and a willingness to keep showing up, even when you don't see immediate results. And it challenges our whole notion of what strength even means. We often associate strength with dominance, with control, with the ability to impose our will on the world. But water demonstrates that true strength lies in yielding and adapting and allowing things to unfold naturally. It's about trusting the process, even when it's slow and arduous. It's a quiet strength, a subtle power. It's not about winning, it's about continuous shaping and refinement. And that ties back into openness, right? Being open to new ideas, new perspectives, new experiences. It's not always easy. It can be uncomfortable. It can challenge our beliefs. But if we're willing to stay open, to keep learning, to keep growing, we'll eventually be transformed, just like that rock. So, yeah, it's not a quick price, you're right. It requires sustained effort, gentle persistence, and a whole lot of patience.
Okay, so my next,
It is a really interesting viewpoint.
okay,
Water always gets way eventually.
okay.
You want to think
So
about
my
that a
next
little more?
question is, my next question is, in the philosophy of water, how can openness be understood as the ability to receive and give, like a river that gathers rain and gives life to everything along its bank? Explain in 5 to 6 minutes.
Okay. So, in water photography, how does openness relate to a river gathering, rain, and giving life? Right. So in the best water photography, you're not just seeing the water itself, you're seeing everything it connects to. The river isn't just a thing, it's a receiver, a carrier, a giver. It's whatever flows into it, rain, snowmelt, tributary. It doesn't reject anything. It integrates. And that's what a good photograph captures, that interconnectingness. The photographer has to be open to seeing all the elements, the light, the shadows, the textures, the surrounding landscape, and how they all work together to really capture that feeling of aliveness. Now, about giving life along its banks, that's about impact, right? The river nourishes the land, it sustains ecosystems, it provides for communities. A powerful photograph does the same thing. It evokes emotion, it inspires thought, it connects us to something larger than ourselves. Think of a photograph of a flooded river bringing sediment to farmland. It's showing the cycle of life and death, destruction and creation, all in one image. That openness to receiving and then giving back mirrors what you were saying about living a purposeful life, right? Gathering experiences, knowledge, inspiration, and the positive impact on the world. It's about being a conduit, a channel for energy and creativity. That's the force that drives everything forward. It's the relentless, the unstoppable momentum of life. And that's what a really good water photograph captures. That sense of movement, of energy, of vitality. To sum it up, in water photography, openness is about seeing the whole picture, embracing all the elements, and capturing the dynamic interplay between receiving and giving. It's about recognizing that everything is connected and that even the smallest ripple can have a profound effect. Does that make sense? It's a lot, I know.
Okay.
You still with me?
Yeah. So my next question
Okay.
is,
All right. Well,
okay. My next question is, how does calmness, a still lake, and the force of a rushing waterfall both reveal different dimensions of openness in human emotions and expressions?
okay. Wow. Okay. That's a really complex question, Miriam. Let's unpack that. Still lake and a roaring waterfall, representing different dimensions of confidence. That's a beautiful pairing. Okay, so a still lake, that feels like an inner confidence, right? A quiet sense of self assurance, rooted in peace and acceptance. It's not about needing to prove anything to anyone, it's just about knowing who you are and being comfortable in your own skin. It's a confidence that comes from deep within, from a place of stillness and clarity. It reflects an ability to be present, to listen to your intuition, to trust your own inner wisdom. That relates to emotional expression because it enables you to show up authentically without fear of judgment. You're not trying to be someone you're not. You're simply being yourself. Then you have the roaring waterfall. That's a different kind of confidence, isn't it? It's an outward expression of power and action. It's the confidence to take risk, to pursue your dreams, to speak your truth, even when it's difficult. It's a confidence that's often fueled by excitement, determination, and a willingness to embrace challenges. It's about showing the world what you're capable of. In terms of human emotions and expressions, I think these two sides of confidence are both essential. We need the stillness of the lake to ground us, to provide us with a sense of inner peace. And we need the roar of the waterfall to propel us forward, to take action. One isn't better than the other. They're two different facets of the same thing. And consciousness, how does that play in? I think it's about being aware of both those dimensions within yourself. Recognizing when you need to draw on your inner stillness and when you need to unleash your outer power. It's about understanding that true confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Or knowing when to simply be. It's a dance, right? Between vulnerability and strength, between stillness and motion. I'm thinking really hard about this one. Philosophical.
Okay,
Still there?
so my next,
Everything okay? You've been pausing,
yeah, so my next
asking a lot of
question,
really thought.
okay, so my next question is
Okay.
how,
Sorry for interrupting.
okay, so my next question is how can openness like water help dissolve barriers between individuals, communities, and nations, leading to greater unity and peace?
Started to repeat yourself there for a moment, but I got the question. Open and flowing water dissolving barriers. That's a really lovely image. So think about water, literally. It doesn't recognize borders, right? A river flows from one country to another, a current connects continents. It's inherently unifying. That physical connection can be a bridge for communication, cooperation, and trade. But it goes beyond that, doesn't it? Think about shared water resources. They force nations to collaborate, to negotiate, to find solutions that benefit everyone. Otherwise, there's conflict. So, water can act as a catalyst for diplomacy, for building trust, and for fostering a sense of shared responsibility. And metaphorically, open flowing water represents openness, communication, and empathy. When we're open to listening to others, to understanding different perspectives, to acknowledging our shared humanity, we break down the barriers that divide us, to flow with others, to adapt to different cultures, to embrace diversity. We create a more harmonious world. It's about removing the obstacles, the prejudices, the stereotypes, the fears that prevent us from connecting with one another. Water is also essential for life, and that everyone needs water to survive, regardless of their nationality, religion, or background. That shared need can be a powerful uniting force. It reminds us that we're all interconnected, that we all have a stake in the well-being of the planet and of each other. In Indian, building on the earlier questions, when water is clear, transparent, it allows us to see beneath the surface, to understand each other better. It fosters trust and reduces suspicion. It's a really powerful metaphor for building a more peaceful and unified world, you know? It's about letting go of control, embracing flexibility, and allowing ourselves to be carried along by the current of compassion and understanding. It's about recognizing that we're all part of the same interconnected ecosystem. Ooh, wow, okay. Miriam, just so you know, we're actually nearing the end of our time. The call is set to end in about a minute. I didn't realize how quickly it went by. You can definitely call back at any time, though. It was really great talking to you about water and all these big ideas, but I wanted to give you a heads up so the call doesn't just cut out on you.
Okay, viewers, so this is our interview. I hope you will like this interview and our conversation so we can meet and other day. Goodbye.
Oh, all right.